Hello and welcome back to Wicked Podcast. It's Storm here, and Sorsha's next to me doing some more homework, so it's up to me to introduce tonight's guests and what's going on in this podcast. Tonight we talk to Eric Cooper, aka Medicine Eagle. He's the founder of Desert Moon Grove and Forest Moon Grove, a group of pagans dedicated to continued worship and community overseas in Iraq and during military service. He's going to tell us a little bit about how his group started, and a little bit of what they do and issues facing pagans in the military. This is a continuation of our series of podcasts on our troop support project. Now, for those of you who haven't heard anything about the troop support project, first let me say that I'm really sorry about Libsyn having lost our troop support episode. I believe it's episode 11. It hasn't been able to be downloaded in a while, and this is a general shout out for anyone who might have a copy of that episode still in MP3 format that they've held on to. If you can get it to us, that'd be great, because then we could re-upload it, because Libsyn lost it. Anyways, to continue, our troop support effort is to help support our pagan troops and any other troops who are pagan friendly from the pagan community who are serving and representing us overseas. Our first troop support project was designed to send packages for Samhain, and that's gone off pretty well. We've sent all of our packages for Samhain to the troops that we are supporting, and we want to give a really big thanks to everyone who donated through us. We've chosen a few people who donated to receive some special prizes, some of the same things that we are sending to our troops, because we still have some extra CDs to send out to the troops from Emerald Rose, who you guys will hopefully be hearing from again on the podcast in the upcoming weeks. However, as much support as we did get, we don't feel as if we got enough support to continue our individual support of the pagan troops. That doesn't mean that we're not going to continue doing it. It just means that we won't be sending separate packages directly from Wicked Podcast from this point forward. What we are doing is teaming up with Medicine Eagle and his group of Desert Moon Grove so that anything we do collect will be used to help support his group in the expansion of other covens overseas and in other military base areas. So please enjoy the conversation with Medicine Eagle and continue to donate through Wicked Podcast, or if you're more comfortable with it, contact Desert Moon directly. They have a Yahoo group at forestmoongrove@yahoogroups.com, and they can be contacted, and if you'd like to support them directly instead of going through our button on our webpage at wickedpodcast.com, you can donate directly through them. Also, just as one last reminder, if you have any comments or anything that you'd like to discuss further with the issues that are brought up in tonight's episode, please go over to our Yahoo group, wickedpodcast@yahoogroups.com, and get on the message boards and say hello to everyone there. We have a pretty good group over there, and we're really looking to get the group active and discussing some of the issues that are brought up. And believe me, we discuss a lot of really passionate issues with Medicine Eagle on this podcast tonight. So with that said, we're just going to go straight into the interview with Medicine Eagle, and we hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you next week. So what you been up to?
Oh, I'm on leave right now, so I'm just enjoying my leave before we get deployed.
And how long is it going to be till you're deployed?
We leave sometime mid-November.
So you're just preparing everything, getting ready to go?
Yeah, relaxing, clearing my mind. Yeah, we just got back in January from Blood, and we're going to Mosul for another year this time around.
Wow. So, you guys are based out of Oregon or Washington?
No, we're in Washington.
Washington. That's what I couldn't remember whether it was... I knew you were in the Pacific Northwest, but I couldn't remember whether or not you were in Oregon or Washington State. So.
Yeah, we're in Washington State. We're right outside Fort Lewis in a little part of Tacoma. It's in Lakewood.
Eric, what's your full name?
My name's Eric Cooper.
Okay, and Do you have a craft name that you prefer to go by?
I usually go by Medicine Eagle. That was pretty much given to me by Morgan through a meditation.
Okay.
Cool.
That's usually the name, my online name. Any crafty type. Yeah, Medicine Eagle's the name.
Cool.
So then that kind of leads me to believe that you follow a more Celtic path.
Yes, I'm a Celtic shaman by path.
Okay.
Very cool.
That's cool. Well, generally, we like to ask everyone who's on our show how long they've been practicing, and to tell us a little bit about their path and sort of their history following the craft, just so we can have a perspective on where you're coming from.
All right. I was raised Assembly of God. I never fit. Even my parents could tell you I never fit. So pretty much when I was a kid, I was raised on a 40-acre beef farm in a town called Big Lake, Washington. And I'd come home from church and I'd run off and be in the woods grounding the rest of the day. So until I started actually reading pagan-type books, didn't really realize I was following. Let's see. The first path I started following was Wicca, because it was the most easiest to understand and whatnot. Met my wife. I actually joined the Army in '89, and was studying and reading then. Didn't really call myself pagan at the time, though.
Right.
Let's see. I met my wife. She was raised a witch, so she pretty much pointed me in the direction of the books to read, and so I started following Wicca. And didn't really start following the Celtic shaman path till about 3-4 years ago. As far as what I do, I'm real herbal. I'll make satchels, follow the Sabbaths like all pagan paths do.
Right.
I have totems of dragon, bear, badger, and eagle.
Some powerful totems.
Yeah.
Especially badger, oddly enough.
Morgan came to me a couple of years ago. She's always been with me, but she came really strong about 2 years ago, actually just before we deployed to Iraq this last time.
Well, it's appropriate that she would be with you in a time of war.
Oh, yeah, because I was in combat in '91 in Doha, Kuwait, with 11th Armored Cavalry.
Right.
And then as a medic then. And then I went to Somalia in '93 as a medic.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's my 2 other combat tours.
So you're a lifer.
No. I've been in 16 now. When we get back, it'll be 17, and I'm getting the hell out.
Right.
Well, for a lot of people, that's a life
that's
contribution.
A huge commitment.
I mean, there aren't many people that stay at the same job that long.
Right.
Yeah. No, as far as lifer to me is you do 20, you retire. My original intention was to do 20 and retire, but 4 combat tours is enough for me. I'm done. My wife can't handle another one, so I'm done.
So you're not going to try and outweight the administration, I take it.
Oh, I'm through. We get back from Iraq, I'm through.
All right.
We're starting up a commune, and my intention is to move on to the commune, and that's it. Live my life out in the commune.
Oh, yeah, that link I showed you the other day, honey, with the, what do you call them again?
Yurts.
Yurts. Remember the yurts I showed you?
Right.
Those are, I was telling Storm, I was like, look, we need one of these.
Yeah, the link is pacificyurts.com. That's one company I found anyway. It's a 30-foot round house. It's actually nomadic. You can pack it up and move it around if you want to move. And they run for like $5,000. I mean, hell, you can't beat $5,000 for a house.
Yeah, and they're really, they're nice. They're great. And you can put them like in some of nature's sweetest spots. They're just awesome.
Cool. Well, before we talk about anything else, I just want to toss a shameless plug out here. Well, you're looking for books to read to take with you?
Yes, anything Pagan Path type books, to include Dragon Fairy type books.
Well, if you decide to take any fiction, I read not too long ago this book called The Traveler by a guy named John 12 Hawks. I think it's John 12 Hawks. But anyways, I think you'd really like it because talking about dropping out of the world and living your life and moving to a commune, his book definitely advocates that. It's sort of a fantasy science fiction type book, but it deals a lot of metaphysical stuff.
That's
set in, sort of the real world, so to speak. One of the big themes it talks about is people sort of going off grid and sort of disconnecting with the media-driven world that is that our society has become.
Yeah.
And getting back to their roots and getting back to a small community and things like that.
Well, it's kind of cool. We talked about starting a commune about a year or two ago, or it's probably been longer than that, but just those fleeting thoughts. And Eileen, one of our Forest Moon Grove members, joined about 3 or 4 months ago. Well, she owns a 15-acre farm up like in the foothills of Mount Rainier, out in the middle of nowhere. And she said we could move the commune onto her land. Plus, there's like 2 20-acre, 30-acre plots bordering hers that is coming up for sale. So there's another pagan woman in Virginia that's going to move down once her fiance gets back from Baghdad, and she wants to buy up one of those 2 plots so we can actually expand it.
Wow. Plus, you'll have plenty of big space between you and the rest of the world, so developers don't come in and crowd you out.
Yeah.
They can't develop it because there's a wildlife preserve or a nature preserve like 2 or 3 plots away. Well, you can't touch it. The government can't touch a preserve. So we're pretty much safe.
Oh, that's great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
There's 3 streams that come through the land off of Mount Rainier out of the glaciers. We're going to dam up one of those and use it for hydroelectric power so we can have our own power. We want to pretty much get off the grid and be completely self-preservative.
That'll be awesome.
That'd be awesome. We'll come visit.
Yeah, by all means. By all means.
We'll do commune cast.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Off satellite.
Yeah, we'll pop it off a satellite.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell us about the origins of Forest Moon Grove.
Okay, what started with Desert Moon. Desert Moon Grove, actually going back to Germany. I was in Delta Company. I got moved to Bravo Company because I needed NCOs. That's non-commissioned officer or sergeant for public information. And I got moved to Bravo Company. My first day in Bravo Company, the first sergeant, who is the one in charge of the whole company, got out in a company formation and verbatim said, if you're a Wiccan or a Satanist, he did not recognize your religion. You could not practice in his company area. And, if you're a Christian, you could go to church and he'd support you. Just in a nutshell, because this could take hours, but just in a nutshell, I got extremely pissed off because my wife and I practice in our home. It's no big deal.
Right.
But if you're a pagan soldier living in the barracks and you're single, pretty much he just said you can't practice your religion. So when it was all said and done, I went to the battalion commander. We had the first ever Yule open public celebration on the airfield on the installation. I had Wiccan breakfast set up once a month, and we had a group set up. We had 13 families at the Yule celebration. It was really cool. I enjoyed it, and that pretty much, once I started it going, it showed me what I needed to do to get past the red tape of the military.
Right.
How to set up a group, because there's only 2 groups that are recognized by the military for what they call a DFGL. It's a Distinguished Faith Group Leader. And that's Sacred Well out of Texas and Aquarian Tabernacle Wiccan Church here in Washington State. So when we got to Iraq, when we got to Balad, first thing I did is went to the installation chaplain and asked him if there was a pagan group set up. He said, pagan? What's a pagan? And I was like, okay, that answers that one. So I started putting up flyers to see how many pagans were on the installation, and got ordered to take them down by our sergeant major. So, okay, I played that game and took them all down, and went to Sacred Well, contacted them by email, and got the legal paperwork set up. That took about 2-3 months. Meantime, the word got out, and I think we had 10 pagan soldiers show up. And originally I set it up for Thursday nights just kind of as a study group, but, well, that didn't work because they showed up at my shop every night. So we just made it an every night coffee pagan thing, which worked out great. So pretty much we met every night for the whole year.
Wow.
And that was either a protective ritual because we were getting mortar attacks.
Right.
That was almost a nightly event anyway. Some pagan soldiers would come in because they had just lost their squad leader or their best friends in firefights, and we did healing satchels for them and drank valerian tea. And yeah, it just worked out great from then on. We had another pagan in, not Circle Sanctuary, Sacred Well. No, Circle Sanctuary. She picked it up and started doing supply drives for us. So I think I got 15 packages in one day.
Wow.
And they were shipping us incense, candles, because I went on Witchfox and posted that there's a pagan soldiers group in Balad, and I got like 30 emails. So, I mean, the packages started coming in. So I think the whole year we're pretty much set as far as supplies went.
Great.
This time around, I'm ordained through Universal Life this time, so it'll be make the political red tape a lot easier.
Right.
I'm also endorsed by Aquarian Tabernacle this time, so we're pretty much set. I've got 5-foot lockers, 1-foot locker full of herbs. I think I've got 500 candles going. My library, my sword. We're pretty much good. The only thing I'm worried about is candles. Candles and incense will be going through on a nightly basis.
Right.
That and books. I'll keep it stocked.
Right now, we're going to pause on our conversation with Medicine Eagle, and we're going to take a little bit of a musical interlude. On the Proud Pagan Podcasters board, one of our fellow podcasters has opened the challenge on his podcast to find some pagan music that doesn't suck. Well, this is our response to that. So every week, we're going to try and bring you at least one good pagan song, or at least good in our opinion. Now, I'm sure that Deos over at Deos Shadow has different criteria for what constitutes pagan music, and probably also what constitutes pagan music that doesn't suck. But for us, really just anything that with a pagan theme that we can get down to and get our groove on. Sorsha's groaning over there, and not in a good way. In any case, anything that we can enjoy that has good pagan themes, whether or not the band is pagan or not, whether or not the song is obviously pagan or not, is going to be constituting it for us. So tonight, we're bringing you one of our very favorite songs from the Scandinavian band Leaves' Eyes. Leaves' Eyes has a unique, almost rock opera sound. And this song is a particular favorite. It tells the story of a soldier who's left his love as he goes off to war. So tonight's musical interlude, we're dedicating to the boys serving overseas, particularly with Desert Moon Grove.
and I saw how good Desert Moon Grove was going in the civilian support. I thought it'd be awesome to start a separate group here stateside once we got back that incorporated civilians that wanted to support the troops. And so Forest Moon Grove was birthed February of this year. And when I got here, not trying to slam anybody, but when I got to this community and posted on this community that I wanted to start up a military group, I got nothing but crap, basically, from the local pagan community here.
Right.
I'll leave it at that.
Well,
we've had bitch sessions about that ourselves.
Well, you're dealing with a different mentality than on the East Coast or the South where we are.
Right.
North Carolina is a military-heavy state, so
a lot of our pagans are very, very patriotic.
Well, that's why I write articles now, because I've seen so much crap from pagan community. The pagan community should be unified to begin with. We have enough crap from other religions against pagans that there shouldn't be fights within the pagan culture. Just bottom line. And the big fight I get to is, how can you be military and be a pagan? Well, it's real easy, because every religious sect has always had a warrior path.
Right.
Everyone. So how can you say I can't be a pagan and not be military?
Well, and you can't expect to partake in the freedom of religion or want to fight for the freedom of religion if you can't defend your own soil.
Exactly.
If you can't defend the right for your own freedoms. And I know that we've said before, we understand that you may not agree with the current administration, you may not agree with why we're at war, but the military doesn't choose who they fight when they fight. They defend our nation, you know?
We do what we're told. My job personally is to make sure America's kids come back from war. That's my job.
Good deal.
And I want to say, good job on claiming the right that you're sent over there to defend.
Right.
Yeah.
That's excellent, actually.
I write for 4 magazines. One is New Age Journal Online. The other is Moon Shadow, which they're based on the East Coast, and their magazines are hard to find because they're a fairly new magazine. But they can be found at mnshadows.com. I also write for paganpages.org. She's got an e-zine going. So I have an article or a column called From the Front Lines on that one. So anyone that wants to read the articles, they can either email me personally and I can forward them to them, or they can go on the Forest Moon Grove site, which is on it's a Yahoo group, and I'll be writing from Iraq.
Is there anything you want to talk about? Is there any message or issue that you want to put out there for our listeners that you want them to think about, or that you want to talk about, that you want to get off your chest?
Oh, if everyone wants to bombard VA about the Pagan Headstone campaign, right now VA's got 32 emblems they'll put on fallen soldiers' headstones, and the pentacle is not one of them.
Yeah, we were just for Memorial Day, we were in Washington, D.C., and we went to Arlington Cemetery, and we saw a lot of those different symbols, and I can tell you it would mean a lot to me to be able to go back there and visit with as many people that have been in our family who have served, who weren't necessarily pagan, but it would be nice to be able to go through and see someone that I can connect to spiritually, see their faith emblazoned as a memory in their passing, and what they fought for.
They even have an atheism symbol.
Oh, Lord.
And I know they have, like I said, they have 32 different symbols they'll put on your headstone, but they won't put the pentacle. And there's a guy named Scott Stearns down here. He works for the VA, and he is Wiccan, and he's been fighting this for, I think he just started the fight this year. But he went through the Freedom of Information Act, and I can't remember the number, but he has a whole stack of people that submitted for the pentacle and kept on getting stonewalled and told they won't do it. And now they're revamping all of their regulations, and it's horseshit, because we're fighting for a country, we're fighting for religious freedom, but we can't have our own emblem put on our damn headstone. What's the issue?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be one.
All right, Source has got a rant here. Sorry, but it's crazy because I know that since 1989, Wicca has actually been considered a valid and legitimate religion in the United States of America. But it really takes a lot out of that whenever that's only in print. Because if you say something about your religion, you're still going to get flack. I mean, they might not be able to hold you in prison, but they still can just give you pure hell about it. And, I mean, what in the hell is the deal about the pinnacle? People want to think that the reason that we must worship Satan if we have a pinnacle. But if you want to know the truth about it, the pinnacle was actually used by Christianity at one point in time. So does that mean that at once they worshipped Satan as well?
Yeah.
You know, and what? It's a symbol, folks. I mean, get off your fucking high horse. It is a symbol of our faith. So I think that that's a very worthy cause. Do you have any information where we can go to get on that bandwagon?
Once again, I'll forward you what links I have. I don't have them in front of me, and I can't remember what they are.
We'll put them in our show notes.
Yeah, we'll put them in our show notes. That's definitely stir things up.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you go post on the Forest Moon Grove board, you'll catch Scott Stern's attention, and he was actually interviewed in the Seattle PI and Cairo News, and Cairo News down here, they have a guy named Ken Schramm that does editorial. He just did an awesome fucking job on his editorial. I was like, oh my God, brought a tear to my eye.
I also hope you don't mind the article that you wrote about this not necessarily being a Christian nation.
Yeah.
I actually printed that article out and handed it out at one of the business meetings of our church here, of our Wiccan church.
Yeah.
And that was just really the kick in the pants we all needed, I think.
Good deal.
Thank you.
I had fun researching that too, because like, oh my God, what's a deist?
Right.
I punched in deist, and I was like, holy shit, it's not pagan, but it's close enough to pagan. I mean, hell, these are people, they don't believe in the Christian God. They believe in a higher power and the reverence of nature. How close to paganism, I mean, without being pagan, can you get?
Exactly.
And to think Thomas Jefferson, the founder of the Declaration of Independence, was a deist. He believed in Jesus Christ, but not as a deity, not as the Son of God, but as a man.
Right.
And how in the hell, I'm getting pissed, but hell,
let it out, brother.
How the hell can Christians call us a Christian fucking nation when it wasn't founded on Christianity?
Right.
I mean, and I mean, just last night I read a letter to the editor in some newspaper, because I have my Yahoo news settings at Pagan and Wiccan and witchcraft, and I got this news blurb, this bitch posts in her newspaper for all the Christians to stand up against this pagan religion of Halloween. I was like, oh my God, yeah. I sent yeah, because then she goes on to say, well, this is a Christian nation, and oh yeah, that's okay, we're on. And she even commented on the Christian presidents. Well, I'm sorry, Thomas Jefferson, or not Thomas, Abraham Lincoln, the first president of the United States, was a deist.
You mean George Washington?
Abraham.
Yeah, there you go. George Washington was a deist.
Right.
I'm lost.
I think both of you are right. Actually, I think they.
Well, he said the first president, and then he said Abraham Lincoln. So I had to figure out whether he meant.
Gotcha.
It was George Washington.
And also, if you think about it, Washington was a lot of the ways that he took to form the nation, and a lot of the ideals he's used came from Cicero, who is a Roman pagan.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the kids in my class that I'm in currently, we're having this huge debate, and I have to teach a class on it next Thursday, as a matter of fact. This girl really believes that the only way that we can have a moral nation is if it's founded in Christianity, if there is a connection between church and state. And I'm like, so you think that the only way to have morals is to be Christian?
Yeah.
And that gets me hot. So I'm anticipating that Thursday's class it'll be a great day.
I'm going to try and encourage her to take our digital recorder with her to class and podcast
Oh yeah, that'd be a great podcast right there.
Right.
Doesn't it sound like it?
You get to hear Source to tear somebody up. But I'm taking your article with me to class, as a matter of fact. So
Cool.
It's just I tend to get really aggravated when folks think that specific religions, and Christianity in particular tends to think that they have the market cornered in moralism, but really they don't.
Well, if you look at history, just about every war has been based on some kind of a religious argument.
Right. I mean, they think now terrorism, this is just going to get me killed, I know. The FBI is listening in. But folks really think that terrorism is something that is being done to Christians. But need I remind them about the Crusades or, the witch burning trials? I mean, Christians were, at one point in history, terrorists themselves.
Yeah. And they still are. I mean, and that's another article I wrote. Look at Pat Robertson and Jerry Falwell. I even showed the article to my chaplain, who's very Christian, but he's not the fundamentalist type Christian. He thought the article was great. He's like, the only difference between Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson, the fundamentalist Christians that are infiltrating our government, trying to make this a Christian nation, is the fact that they didn't fly a damn jet into a damn tower. That's the only difference.
Yeah. It's a sad truth. It is a sad truth.
Yeah.
Give them time.
I mean, how can a Christian bomb an abortion clinic because they don't believe in abortion?
Right.
That's terrorism.
I think that...
Or the Oklahoma City bombing.
Right.
Yeah.
Folks are just so caught up in this and caught up in how self-righteous and moral everything is. Nobody just stops to think. They're too busy hating to stop and check themselves or to look around them or, And we're going to get blasted for this episode. I'm loving it.
What a way to start off November after
Hey, we're opening up a can of worms. It's great.
Well, and we're on 2-week hiatus. So when this airs, it'll be
on.
It'll be the first episode after our hiatus. So.
Oh, God.
We're back!
We're back with a blast.
Yep. I also think that Storm and I actually happen to be very patriotic. And I think that a lot of our listeners misinterpret that and think that us being patriotic means that we are just 100% behind the current administration or, I tend to think of the folks in the rural areas of North Carolina who are terribly redneck. And we're nothing like that. I think that where our patriotism actually stems from is we believe in what this nation was originally founded upon. We believe that our forefathers sparked a revolution because they had a dream. And, nothing gets me teared up quicker than to think about those men who formed this nation and what they created it for. And based on freedom. I mean, that just really, it's a kick in my pants. I love it. I mean, I think that this nation was meant to be much greater than where we're going.
Well, they'd be rolling over in their graves right now, looking at all the crap going on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a witch in South Carolina. I can't remember her name, but
Diane Wynn.
Huh?
Darla Wynn.
Yeah, she was persecuted by her whole town.
Right.
They even took a shit in her microwave. Come on now, they killed her cats.
Right.
I just got an email today from a news article that her town is paying all of her court fees. They are court ordered to, and they've been court ordered not to invoke the name of Jesus Christ in their council meetings. That's the separation of church and state. That's the way it should have been, and that's the way it will be now. I mean, bottom line, but it's sad to have a witch persecuted because of it.
And we need to remember, and so do the people that keep invoking the forefathers' name, that they opened the door to this kind of freedom, and they didn't close it behind them. They left it propped open for any religion to come that came after them. Right,
because they knew that times were going to change and that things needed to change to be more positive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Darla K. Wynn story is one that's aggravated us for some time, too.
And we're not very far from Darla. And right now, we are in the process of trying to get some people together in our local area to go help out.
To, send manpower down there to help her rebuild and go spend Sabbats with her and things like that.
Last I knew, she wanted to move back to Alaska.
You can't blame her after this.
No, I don't at all. In fact, I'd love to be in Alaska.
Well, maybe we'll send her a message to come to Greensboro, and there's a lot of pagans here that would welcome her with open arms. So.
She can come move on to the commune. She'd be safe there.
That would be a great idea, yeah.
Hey, we might be packing up and moving out there.
There you go.
If nothing else, I wouldn't have to deal with soccer moms and their SUVs Save the Planet stickers on their bumpers.
Yeah.
That was a reference to a fellow pagan podcaster and his oxymoronic bumper sticker about how he saw a Save the Planet bumper sticker on the bumper of an SUV.
Oh, God.
It's beautiful.
All right, well, we have talked about Forest Grove and Desert Grove, and we've ranted for quite a bit. So
it's been great.
It felt good.
it has been a lot of fun talking with you, Eric, and we wish you a lot of luck.
Are you going to be able to communicate with us while you're deployed?
Oh, yeah. I will have internet access. Phone access will be monopolized by AT&T. I'm in a signal unit, so I probably will have my own phone, hopefully.
Okay.
I did last time.
Okay. Will you be able to email us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll have internet.
Good deal.
Okay.
As soon as you can, just email us your address, and we'll make sure that anything our listeners send us, we either get to your wife or from us, and you'll receive it.
And if there's any messages you want to get out there, just email them to us. Keep us updated on what's going on. We don't want to lose track of you over there.
Right. And what you need. Just let us know any herbs you need, candles. We'll be happy to either contact one of the sites that you gave us or our contact here, and we'll get you what you need.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, Eric. Well, Lord and Lady bless while you're over there, man.
Yeah, bright blessings.
And you'll definitely be in our thoughts every day.
All right.
We'll talk to you later, Eric.
Yeah, thank you much, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.